Okay, so when we were learning about parabolas, we learned how to complete the square with those, and then we learned how to complete the square with ellipses, and now we're going to learn how to complete the square from hyperbolas. And remember, the whole reason we're doing this is because if I gave you this equation of a hyperbola, would you be able to tell me the center and the A and the B and all that?
Yes.
No. But look, you can look at that equation and tell me the center and the A and the B and the foci and all that. No. So the reason we have to complete the square is to change it into the form that we want it in. Okay? Our goal is to take it from standard form and change it to, change it from general form to standard form. Standard form is what's written on the board. Okay, the first step is to move the constant to the other side and group the x's and the y's together by variable. So look, I'm going to take that negative 9x squared, and group it with the negative 18x. There's a minor difference. There's a very minor difference between this and ellipses, okay? And then you're going to take the 16y squared and group it with the 64y. And then you're going to move the 89 to the other side, and since it's minus 89, you'll add it over there and it'll become positive 89. Alright, the second step is factor out the coefficient on the x squared term and the coefficient on the y squared term. This is where the minor difference comes in. When we were doing ellipses, we never had negative numbers that we factored out, but now we do. We're going to factor out that negative 9, and we're going to factor out that positive 16. Now watch. I'll give you time to copy after I do this. Watch. Remember, when you're factoring out a number, you're basically dividing it out. So negative 9x squared divided by negative 9 is just 1x squared, right? And then here, watch this. Negative 18 divided by negative 9 is positive 2x. So over here, when I factor out 16 from 16y squared plus 64y, what would be left?
Y squared plus
4y. 64 divided by 16 is 4. Okay, the third step is to start completing the square process. So this is where I'll add in my blanks for each trinomial. X squared plus 2x plus blank, and then plus 16, and then I'll add in the blank for that trinomial. And then since I added 2 blanks on the left side of the equation, I must also add 2 blanks on the right side. Now remember, the little formula for filling in the blanks is b divided by 2 squared. So for your x trinomial, what is the b value over there? A 2. So when you divide that by 2, you get a 1. And when you square a 1, you get a 1. But then remember, you have to multiply it by that negative 9. And so over here, you add a negative 9. Okay, what's the b value for the y trinomial? Divided by 2 squared. Okay, but over here, you must multiply that 4 by 16 and you get a 64. Just like we did with ellipses. The only difference so far from when we did this with ellipses is we had to factor out a negative number, and we never had to do that with ellipses. That's the only difference. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to factor each of these trinomials into 2 binomials. And then over here, we'll just combine those up. What is 89 plus negative 9 plus 64? 144. Okay? Alright, so now you're factoring. So look, to get x squared, you need x times x. And then the numbers that multiply to 1 and also add to 2 are 1 and 1. And remember, they have to match, because in the very next step, aren't you going to write it once and square it? And the whole reason we want to do that is because now isn't that starting to look more like the standard form on the board? Okay, now look over here. To get y squared, I need y times y. What two numbers multiply to 4 and add to 4? 2 and 2. And remember, they have to match, so that in the very next step, I can write it once and square it. Okay, the fourth step is to divide all terms by the constant number on the right side of the equation, and then rearrange if necessary. Remember, the reason we divide this by itself is to make it equal what? 1, because all of our equations equal 1. But if you do that on that side, you have to do it on this side. Okay, so now look, I have x plus 1 squared, and then y plus 2 squared equals 1. And now let's simplify those fractions. What's negative 9 over 144 reduced to? Negative 1 over 16. Okay, so look, when I write this, negative 1, but you don't really have to write it, over 16. What does 16 over 144 reduce to? 1 over 9. So 1 over 9. However, the reason it says rearrange if necessary is because we are writing the equation of a hyperbola. And what do hyperbolas always have in the middle? A minus sign. Well, look, it ended up over there. So at the end, you just need to rearrange it. Put the y plus 2 squared first over 9, and then minus x plus 1 squared over 16. The reason that happens is because, think about it. At the very beginning of the problem, when it said group the x's and the y's, we just automatically group x's first and then y's second. But it doesn't say you have to do that, right? We just do it that way. But with hyperbolas, it might end up at the end, the y comes first because it's a vertical hyperbola. Now that we have it in standard form, let's identify the characteristics that we were working on yesterday. What is the center of this vertical hyperbola? Negative 1, negative 2. Okay, y'all got to focus on that. That's going to get y'all on the test if you don't really pay attention. Alright, now we need to do the foci. Well, to do the foci formula, which is c squared equals a squared plus b squared, you need to know the a and the b. What was the a? Right. And so won't that just go right back when you plug them in and square them to 9 and 16, which becomes 25, and then that means c equals 5. Now, since it is a vertical hyperbola, you'll be adding that 5 to which value over here? The y value, the negative 2. So negative 1 won't be affected. But from negative 2, you'll go up 5, which will take you to, from negative 2, you'll go up 5, which will take you to 3. And then from negative 2, you'll go down 5, which will take you to negative 7. Okay, and then one other thing for practice, the slopes. Remember, the slopes are always plus or minus because you have a positive line and a negative line with a hyperbola, asymptote lines. And then it's always a over b. Well, is it 3 over 4 or 4 over 3? 4 over 3. Remember, slope is rise over run. And isn't rise y values and run x values? The 3 came from out under the y, so it goes on top. And the 4 was under the x, so it goes on bottom. Okay, any questions? Okay, turn to the next page. Let's try another one. Okay. What do I do first? Group. So it'll be 3x squared plus 12x minus 3y squared minus 12y equals 27. Any questions on step 1? Okay. Now look, after this you factor out the term on the x squared and you factor out this term on the y squared. Okay, when you factor out a 3 from 3x squared plus 12x, what's left? Correct. And when you factor out a negative 3 from negative 3y squared minus 12y, what's left? plus 4y. Because look, negative 12 divided by negative 3 is positive 4. The next step is where you add in your blanks. So x squared plus 4x plus blank minus 3, and then add in your blank for the y's. And then since you added in 2 blanks over there, you add in 2 blanks over there. Okay, what's the formula for filling in the blanks? Correct. B over 2 squared. For the x trinomial, what is the b value? Divided by 2 squared? Okay, but look, 4 times 3 will make you add 12 over there. For this one, what's the b value? Divided by 2 squared? But when you multiply it over by negative 3, so don't those just cross each other out anyway? Okay, so now we're going to factor by looking for the two numbers that multiply to get your c value and add up to get your b value. And then, of course, those cancel each other out, so you're still just left with 27 on the right side. So x times x, and then what numbers multiply to 4, add to 4? And then look, the y trinomial is the exact same trinomial just with y, so y plus 2, y plus 2. Okay, so now the reason they have to match is because in the next step, we're able to write it as a binomial squared. Write it once and square it. Okay, who knows the next step?
It's going to be x plus 2 over
Divide. At this point, you're ready to make it equal 1, so you divide everything by 27. Okay, so I'm going to start going this way now because I'm kind of running out of room. So we have x plus 2 squared, and then what does that 3 over 27 reduce to? 1 over 9. And then minus y plus 2 squared over 9, because it's also a 3 over 27. And look, that time we didn't have to do the rearranging. The minus ended up where it should. Okay, so now that we have our equation, let's identify the characteristics. We know it's a hyperbola. What kind of hyperbola? Horizontal. X came first, which means it's horizontal. What's the center of it? Right? Okay, what's the a value of it? What's the b value of it? So when we do the foci, I want to end up being 3 squared plus 3 squared, which is 9 plus 9, which is 18. And what's the square root of 18? What is it? 4.2? Okay, so when you write your two foci points, that 4.2 is what directions? Right and left, because it's horizontal. So this negative 2 in the y place won't be affected. You're not going up or down. You are going from negative 2, right 4.2, and where would that take you? To 2.2. And then you are going from negative 2, left 4.2, and that would take you to negative 6.2. And then what about the slopes of the asymptotes? It would be 3 over 3, which is just 1. Right? You don't even really have to think about which ones rise, which ones run, because they're the same. So plus or minus 1. For homework, I would like you to try example 3. Okay? Example 3 is your homework. Don't just simplify it to the equation. Write down all the characteristics too.